For thousands of years, prophets around the world have predicted the
long journey on how to break out of spiritual and karmic prison.
I need to go to hell, befriend the demon, get the demon to confess, and I pray. My name is Sonya. I see patterns, connections, meanings, synchronicities in everything around me, including the video clips that pop up on my phone. I use them to create and predict the future. In Matthew 5, it states that if you come to the altar to offer your gift and you remember that you have an adversary, that you need to leave your gift and go reconcile with your adversary. It says be agreeing with the adversary, because if you don't, then the adversary can offer you to the judge, who can throw you to the officers and throw you into prison. And I questioned, what does agree mean? Agree with them. The word for agree is union. I don't know how to say it. It means to have kind thoughts, to be well-intentioned. It's kind of like giving them the benefit of the doubt, or not judging them. Jesus is speaking. He says, you've heard it said, you shall not murder, or you are in danger of being judged. But I say to you, whoever gets angry without cause. And I was like, well, what does it mean without cause? So I looked it up in the Greek, and it doesn't say that. It doesn't say without cause. It just says, whoever gets angry with your brother, you are in danger of the judgment. And whoever says raka to your brother, which means empty head, you are in danger of sitting in front of the council. Also, whoever says you fool, you are in danger of hellfire. So in between making the last video and this video, I was staying at my mom and my stepdad's house. I was there for about a week. I was offered the opportunity to fly down to Odessa, Texas, work this sales job door to door. The devil is anything that binds you, anything where you feel like you have to do this to get that. It's a means to an end. That is the devil, because it binds you. Of course, I didn't want to do it. All I wanted to do was do what I knew that I was meant to be doing. I have things to share. I have things to show the world. The way that I know how to do that right now is through videos. My mom and my stepdad, they limit what I'm able to do at their house. But I had no money, nowhere else to go. I told my stepdad I was hesitant on going down there because he offered to pay for my flight down there. And he asked me why. And I said, because every time I work a job for someone else, doing what I know is not what I meant to do, it doesn't turn out good for me. It puts me in a worse position every single time. It doesn't pay me enough, and then I get farther behind on what I want to do, which is this. It gave me this pep talk about saving money and such, building up to it, and the sales job does have a high commission, so I have the opportunity to make a lot of money to get myself out of the hole. This was me being offered a chance to go into hell and confront what makes me feel like I'm trapped. Confront the feeling that I have, or what I believe that keeps me trapped. And by doing so and getting it to confess, I can be free.
You have the chance to stop him. Don't approach him too early, or he'll know we sent you for him.
Why are you looking at me like that? Like you know me.
If it gets out that you're here to snitch,
that's going to be a very unfortunate day.
Accelerate your timetable. If he walks, he'll kill. Again and again.
So I get down there. I've been walking around with a swollen ankle and foot for 6 months, and found out while I was down in Odessa that I had to have foot surgery. I had a torn tendon in my ankle that was caused from working at Yellowstone, because I had to stand all day at my job. And the surgery would lay me up for 3 months. Where am I going to stay with no money? And my mom and stepdad's apparently, but if I'm there, I'm limited on what I can do by their rules. Basically feel trapped into doing something that I didn't want to do. Selling short-term solutions with immediate gratification and causing long-term problems for people in the future. And doing this was causing a ton of emotional turmoil within myself. When I got praised for doing a good job, it made me feel resentment towards them and disgusted with myself for doing. But I kept pushing through this experience, doing the best I can. And I made plans to stay for 5 more weeks. I know that going against myself never works. It always has a consequence.
If you think you could be in danger, you are in danger.
So one night at about 6:30 p.m., it's dark outside, I texted my boss and I said, I think I'm done now. She says, what do you mean? And I said, I'm done for the night. I'm cold and my foot hurts. And I didn't have a warmer jacket because I'm walking with a torn tendon. And she texts me back and she says, if you're only gonna walk for 2 hours a day, then maybe this career path isn't right for you. I said, all right. And she told me where she was and if I wanted to leave, to come walk to her car. And so I walked to her car and I left. I was totally blindsided by this. I had knocked more doors than anyone on her team, except for one person, out of 23 people. And according to Google Timelines, my average walking per day was 3.5 hours. I also didn't have the highest number of sets, but my sets were as high as one of the best people on their team. So I texted her, telling her this, saying she might be right, this isn't the right career path for me. However, it's not due to lack of work. She chose not to acknowledge anything I said and ignored. I gave it a day for her to say something, and then I quit. I'm not wasting any more fucking time working for someone else. I tried to ask my parents for help because she was telling me I had to get out of the house. I had no place to go. I had no money still. Nobody would help me at first. And so I was willing to go sleep out on the street. And my mom acted just like this woman. And I acted just like him.
You're upset because you want to go to Fiji, is that it? Okay. Okay, go. I think you should save for a few months and then go. There. You happy now? I'm gonna go take a shower.
Let's go now. I'm ready to go now. Why wait? Early bird gathers no moss. Rolling stone catches the worm, right?
What are you doing? Truman!
Where shall we go? Where shall we go?
Truman, where are we
I
going?
don't really know. I guess I'm being spontaneous. Somebody help me! I'm being spontaneous!
Truman!
Forget Fiji. Can't very well drive to Fiji, can we? What about Atlantic City?
No, you hate to gamble.
That's right, I do, don't I?
So why would you want to go there?
Because I never have. That's why people go places, isn't it? Locked at every turn. Beautifully synchronized, don't you agree?
You're blaming me for the traffic?
Should I?
Truman, let's go home.
You're right. We could be stuck here for hours. It could be like this all the way to Atlantic City. Let's go back. I'm sorry. I don't know what got into me.
Can you please slow down?
Yes, I can.
Truman, that's our turn off.
I changed my mind. What's New Orleans like this time of year? Mardi Gras! Woo!
Okay? You let me out, Truman. You're not right in the head. You want to destroy yourself, you do it on your own.
I think I'd like a little company.
If I want to destroy my life, then it's on me. Take care of it. And I was like, why can't you see what's going on here? I had one friend come through and lend me enough money where I could get 2 hotel nights. Then I had another friend come through on the other side of the United States with a bus ticket to the other side of the United States and a room to stay in. So here I am, free to do what I said I wanted to do.
I never really thought that I was good enough, but I've decided to bet on myself as an artist and...
Look, Farrell! Same road. No cars. It's magic.
But before I got it, I had to be willing to go sleep in the fucking street. But I also had a very big realization. Because when I was laying in bed that night and nobody would help me at that, I was wishing the whole world would die.
Saying I was there.
It said that he was going to either be on fire or blast off into space.
It was my fault. I caused the crash.
Push the shrine. This is smart.
That I caused the fire that caused the crash to his death, which is a transformation of some kind.
No, I killed them.
I don't understand how you could have. They were found burned, but
This doesn't prove it.
Do you believe me now?
Eric, stop this! Stop it now!
I can't.
It's your emotions.
If you touch me, you will burn.
Everybody dies. As they did, they were burning and they were dying.
You're lucky to be alive.
I'm not saying he's a bad person. I don't care what he is. We need to get him under control.
Two rival teams, and they are tied.
These two teams hate each other. Fan bases don't like each other. They're just waiting for that one moment that's going to make or break the game for either side.
People are probably praying to the heavens for their team to win when suddenly, out of nowhere, there's a lightning bolt.
And all 11 players of Benetashti collapse to the ground. The Sangha, untouched.
Sadly, all 11 players from Benetashti are killed.
Locals start to suspect that something supernatural is brewing here and that maybe someone on the opposing team put a curse on the players.
Lightning, when it hits, isn't necessarily limited to just one thing, one object, one person, because the charge, when it hits one object, goes through that object and then spreads out. So the fact that we had 11 players struck by one stroke of lightning isn't probably that surprising. The surprising thing is that they were all from the same team.
And it's not just the players who get hit by lightning. 30 fans of the Benetashti team are also struck.
This is one of those stories that's completely mysterious, but what I know is, before I place any sports bets, I'm getting a witch doctor on speed dial.
I think something happened that nobody quite understands yet.
I had been having more and more of those moments, the more that I didn't do what I knew I needed to be doing. And then I realized that the only people that I've ever loved were my kids, because they could do anything. They're not helping me. 2 of them are adults. They're not helping me. I didn't take it personally. It didn't hurt me. I still loved them. And I realized, holy shit, I don't love anyone except for my kids. Here I am preaching about being love and peace in the world and stuff, and I don't love any of them. I want them to be a certain way. That's control. When you have expectations of people in return for what you give, for what you offer, that is the devil. That is the demon. That is control. That is not love. So that was the demon that I needed to face, and what I needed to confess was that I didn't love. I was trying to control it.
If you think you could be in danger, you are in danger.
Ruben, stop!
But I want to love the world. Help me learn to love. And then I understood agape. Agape is the love that Jesus had for the world, to love the dead. It's to love what can't give back to you. It's an emptying of self. You're not personally offended by what other people do. You have compassion for them. Like if someone were to do something against you, you have compassion for that person because it doesn't personally hurt you. It could physically hurt you, but it doesn't personally hurt you. You have this understanding that someone trying to hurt you is hurting them. And so you have compassion on them. There's like this realization that everything that happens in your reality is actually for you, for your benefit. So you don't see slights as like some evil force working against you, but rather a force trying to help you realize who you are. And that by me judging all these other people as evil motherfuckers, I was condemning myself because I was condemning them. It's like you're breaking connections, breaking down connections. And as you break these connections on the outside, it's like breaking something down on the inside as well. I was living in this garage. There was this old woman that I got to know, and I thought she was hilarious. She would say things that were like shocking to other people. The woman seemed like it was a grandma. It was some kind of maternal figure in his family, but I didn't quite know how she was this maternal figure in his family. Well, one day, this guy came back to the garage.
Good evening.
I didn't quite know what was going on.
Welcome to Hawthorne. It'll be our pleasure to feed you.
Will that make a mean creme brulee? Tonight will be magical.
Over the next few hours, you will ingest fat, salt, protein, and at times entire ecosystems.
We're eating the ocean. We're eating the ocean.
Are you crying?
It's just I find it all very moving.
I was like, are you still with this girl or what? Are you here? But I remember he was spending the night in the garage.
You shouldn't be here tonight.
Get out of there as quickly as you can.
You, my dear guests, are not the common man. Isn't that right?
Is he gonna keep doing that?
What happens inside this room is meaningless compared to what happens outside. We are but a frightened nanosecond. Nature is timeless.
What the hell is going on?
I love you all.
We love you too, sir.
Right now, all of us have something in common. Humans lost connection with each other.
I don't think I knew who she really was. Now that she's gone, I don't even feel sad or pain.
I want you to feel what I'm feeling.
When you blame another person or a situation, you say, they did this or they did that, or because of this situation, because of that. It gives you something to direct your anger at. You disown it as yourself. You say, that is not me. You're actually disconnecting yourself from something, making it far away, breaking the connection, but you're also breaking this connection with inside of yourself to, if it's like your emotions or to this feeling. It's an easier feeling to feel anger than what's actually going on inside of you. There's something that you need to look at inside of you. Once you stop blaming people and situations as if there's something out there or someone out there going against you, and you start realizing that you're not who you think you are, they aren't who you think they are, and that you're the one who is experiencing all of this just as they are experiencing all this.
How does God know everything? God sees through all of our eyes. God sees through my cat's eyes, sees through the dog's eyes, sees through all the animals, all the living creatures in whatever way that they see and sense.
I don't know how to explain it, but it feels like there's something underlying that connects us all.
And because we're all connected to Source, and Source is all connected to us.
The ocean connects us. There is nowhere I could go that I won't be with you.
To get to it, it's like the ego has to go up in flames.
And when the fire rises, everything will burn.
What about that sign?
They're exaggerating. We'll be fine.
Exaggerating? Would you believe that?
The man stabs the key into his chest, immolating himself and burning his house to the ground.
We're on fire!
Okay.
We're on fire!
It's okay, it's just smoke. It's just smoke. You okay?
Yes!
You wanna do it again?
No!
A human could never break my curse.
The defense mechanism of blaming it on other people, on the situations, on everything outside of you is what's blocking this connection. And once you are ready to face your fear of feeling what is really going on inside of you, of looking what's going on inside of you, the connections will again start to form.
If you try to reconnect the people, you will be destroyed.
You can put it all back together.
And during the night, someone started yelling, "High tide, high tide!" And the water was rising on the ocean.
Water. Our planet is almost completely covered by this precious resource. Without it, man cannot survive.
It's kind of coming up and moving through you, almost like water. You can stand there and you can sense the waters are rising around you. And you seem to me to be on the edge of the point where the water is now ready to pick you up and take you somewhere.
Oh, Truman. You knew this would happen. You know you can't drive over water. Just go home where you'll feel safe.
Give me your hand.
Sweetie.
Drive.
Truman! We shouldn't be doing this, Truman! We're breaking the law! Oh, my! You can do it! Please don't! You can make it! Oh, Truman!
The waters rise. The banks are breached. Men and women are swept away as a great flood of biblical proportions inundates everything. The deluge comes without warning. Or does it? These are clues that may promise total annihilation.
And people were trying to scramble to get out of there. I remember that there was this huge wave coming right towards the garage.
But you're also bringing the waves. You are making waves.
And if I would have stayed in the garage, I would have drowned because the wave would have completely covered the garage. I remember standing out on the deck.
I know what I have to do.
This is so different. It's so different to anything that you've experienced before.
I jumped into the wave, this huge wave.
Rather than fighting the rising waters, you decided to allow yourself to float.
And instead of living life knowing what to expect, it's like diving into the unknown, embracing every experience, because the safety that you have, the protection that you have is the realization that you don't have to protect yourself.
The entire ocean is counting on us.
And I was able to swim right through it.
And if you allow yourself to float, you're going to be taken somewhere by the movement of that water. Now, despite the fact that everything about that feels kind of terrifying, somehow there's a sense that finally that is real.
Something about jumping into the wave is uniting a part of myself that I had been missing for a long time.
To who we're meant to be.
My body is a continent. My breath pushes the clouds across the sky, and the waves roll into the shore in time with my beating heart.
And a unification with myself is ultimately going to cause a unification with another person. An unlikely pair is what I see. And when the water level decreased, I was back in the garage. And rather than looking destroyed, it was all clean. Then this guy opened up to me saying that he's really working on himself and he wants to be vulnerable.
Are you sure you want to do this? I'll go with you.
He wants to have a relationship with me, and he wanted me to meet his parents.
I'm not gonna lose you again.
Why have you not reported to work in the past 3 days?
I lost track of time.
Once I stopped taking mine, I started feeling all of these things.
There is some kind of fusion, like between fire and water, that unites us all, unites everything, like the space in between.
I'm sorry. You can't change the way things are. Watch me.
And there's something about introducing the concept of the kind of alchemy that you can perform on a world that desperately needs it. Is coming into a growth period of giving, of being of service, and it feels actually here like something very actively being done by you on mindsets, reframing people's experiences. I'm speaking to this act of alchemy. It's like you are bringing both the fire and the water to the situation, and because the fire is very active and very outward expressing, but you're also bringing the waves. You are making waves this month.
Get ready.
You ready for what now?
Anoint my head with oil.
You just want to take these electrodes and place them on your temples like so.
Oil is a conductor of electricity.
If you think of your brain as a hard drive, then this just transfers the files.
And in Matthew 24, when Jesus is speaking of the second coming of Christ, he says, "For as lightning comes from the east and flashes to the west, so also will be the coming of the Son of Man." You'll reconnect. There will be new electric connections within inside of you, and that will also result in connections outside of you.
The later Greeks claimed that the Apis bulls were created by flashes of light. They connected them with lightning. They also connected their creation with flashes of light that came from the moon. We're talking about a bull produced by a flash of lightning? Or are we talking about a God who suddenly appears in a flash of lightning? This flash of lightning business is really integral to what we're talking about, because we also have the pyramid text. They have utterances within them that say, the Pharaoh became like lightning. The Pharaoh went through the portal. The Pharaoh is now a god. The transfiguration of the human body into light or lightning.
But could there be such a thing as the luckiest lightning strike? 62-year-old Edwin Robinson has been blind for the last 9 years after narrowly surviving a big rig trucking accident.
It's a tough life, but something that does bring him joy is his pet chicken, who follows him around everywhere. You might be thinking, why a pet chicken instead of a pet dog? Well, pet chickens, they're constantly clucking. They're always making noise. So I can imagine, as a blind person, this is a source of comfort and companionship because you always know where your pet is.
And that beloved pet chicken is about to change Edwin's life in the strangest possible way.
This big summer storm rolls in, and the chicken scurries into the backyard. And he panics and chases after it.
So he is standing under a tree, calling out for his pet chicken, totally worried about him, totally focused on finding this chicken in the thunderstorm when he hears a loud crack like a gigantic whip going off right on top of his head.
The blind will receive sight. The deaf can hear. Those who can't walk will be able to walk. All diseases will be cured. The dead are raised. When the connection is
And then when he wakes up, he notices that something has completely changed. Edwin can see.
He can read the clock on the wall. He can see his wife's face. And perhaps most importantly, he can see his lucky pet chicken. But how can this be?
Naturally, Edwin and his wife go and visit the doctor. After a full examination, the doctor says to him, I don't fully understand it, but your sight is restored. You have normal 20/20 vision.